So today I thought it would be fun to practice my watercolors. Paper coming out of my wazoo. Okay. And I saw some videos on YouTube where people used one paint, so like one color of watercolor, and practice like a monochromatic, you know, illustration, painting thingamajig. I thought that'd be a really good study for me because I think one of my biggest fights with watercolor is trying to mix colors that look good together. And so I was like, well, why don't I try to teach myself to actually use the watercolors properly without having to worry about that. I'm going to pick one color and then I'm going to practice painting from like the darkest tone to the lightest tone by adding more water and practicing that. So I'm going to make some swatches. Then once I've got that down, I'm going to actually paint something. I think this piece will work pretty good for that. Maybe I can just do it in a line. I've got water. So these are my colors. I like never use green, so I'm thinking I'm gonna go towards one of these, and these are really bright and gorgeous. I'm leaning towards this one, but I also really like that one, and then this one too. Like, how am I supposed to pick? I mean, I could always do more than one. I think I'm gonna go with emerald, yellow. Which one did you guys pick? Yellowish green, emerald green, or green? Gotta pick. Oh, it looks like green is one of the colors I use the least, so you know what, let's do that. Let's take advantage of using green. Oh, that yellow green is... No, we're going with green. I've already made the decision. First, I'm just gonna try and get it as much on here as possible and draw a nice little cube. Then, we try to add a little bit of water to that and see if I can get it to go a little lighter. This is my first time ever doing this. I assume if you ever learn watercolors, they make you do this. So this seems like something I should do. Is it actually getting lighter? Because I feel like some of these look darker than the ones up there. If anyone has experience with this, do leave me some tips. This is a really pretty color though. I'm digging it. Let's try to add more water. I'm definitely not seeing a nice gradient, but this is my first time ever doing this, so I'm gonna cut myself a little slack. I am seeing a difference in color from the very beginning to the here, so I'm not doing too terrible of a job. Maybe if I can figure out what I'm doing. Let's practice here. If I can figure it out, then I can do a better one next. Okay, I think I'm getting a little better as I go. Still not sure this one's any lighter than like that one, and they might all be kind of equal. I think I'm gonna give it another shot actually. Why don't I try again here and see if I can do better than this one. So start with, try to get the most pigment to water ratio. Let's do it right here. We got our nice dark super tone green. See, I'm learning here. See, that is significantly lighter than that one. So when you use the paper towel, it seems to adjust the water. Like, it seems to suck more water out of the brush before sucking more paint out of the brush. Does that make sense? Am I getting somewhere with this? Because like you could just go like this and slowly take it out of the brush, and you'd still get a very similar effect. Oh, we'll see if I add more water then. And then still continue to... See, that sort of works. That's a way you could do it. I don't know if that's really the proper way to do it, because you probably need to learn how to play with it on the palette and try and get like a proper ratio. Definitely having a little trouble understanding that ratio. How did I get it all over me already? What the heck? Why was there purple on me? I'm not sure how many... I suppose a more experienced painter will be able to get more swatches and have a nice, more steady gradient, whereas a more beginner has less swatches and a less even gradient. So I guess that shows which side I am on that spectrum. And then to the point where you like barely can see it anymore. And that's the cool thing about watercolors, is the fact that you have so many tones. Oop, jeez, come back. You have so many tones with one color, so you can get like a lot of cool effects that way. But yeah, why don't we tape down some paper and prepare for an actual painting of something that's not just little cubies. Tape that down so that we can apply a lot of water and hopefully not get a ton of what's that called? Buckling? Buckling. That's buckle? Like a belt? Buckling? I'm giving a new definition to the term struggling artist. Oh, come on. Seriously. There we go. Ooh, did you hear that? That was a beautiful sound. Since I'm not willing to take too many chances, I'm gonna find myself a reference. to try and copy because I know my limits. I kind of wanted to do a landscape, and I'm definitely avoiding using any sort of line art because line art can be a bit of a crutch for me, since the point of this exercise is to try and use tones to separate the different, you know, the subject from the background and things like that. And line art, you can kind of use that to use very similar tones next to each other. So I'm gonna try and avoid at all costs using any kind of line art and go just for tones. So something with not too many straight lines because that's not my jam. Something simple since I have no idea what I'm doing. Ooh, this is kind of cool. I don't know if you can see that. It's not got a lot of different tones, but I think I could play with this. I kind of don't like keeping my phone in frame because my camera just doesn't pick it up very well. But I'll put the picture here so you can see it. With watercolors, you want to start with the lightest to the darkest. So I think I need a bigger paintbrush, honestly. I've got a big one. I don't know if I've ever actually used this for anything. 3/4 of an inch flat brush. Well, actually, how do you do this in watercolor? So it's like a sunset, kind of, like that. And the lightest part is right here, and then there's like dark trees. So, oh, and then there's like a lake. So I think what we want to do is have a dark gradient that goes down. So, I don't know, let's just add some water first. Some wet on wet kind of thing, and then just the smidgiest amount of green. Kind of like this. I feel like Bob Ross with this giant brush. Just a bit more than that, maybe. Just work our way down. Is that working? Is it working? I want it to slowly get darker. There's a lot of water here, so. And I have the water that's I've already applied to the paper. And I've heard Canson XL watercolor paper is not the best for adding a lot of water. We'll see what happens. I actually need to go a little bit farther down because there's nothing. It actually needs to go dark to light and then a little bit to dark again. Does that make sense? And I think since I put the water down first, it should smooth out a lot of the strokes. I'm hoping. Is anybody drawing with me? You got your sketchbooks out? This brush is like grabbing too much of the pigment and dragging it. Let's just throw a bunch of paint up here and then pull it down. No, I don't like that. I'm already getting a lot of buckling with this paper. It can't seem to hold this water. So I added a little too much water. My bad. Problem is the paper is like buckling. Gonna be very familiar with that word by the time I'm done with this. But I think I'm just gonna let this dry and hope for the best. And then start adding another darker tone on top of that. Because this was supposed to be the lightest point, and now the lightest point's up here because of the buckling. Can I like just hold that down? No, come on. I think the paper's fighting me. Okay, I'm gonna let it go. Come back when it's dry. Okay, it's dry now, but it looks so much worse. I'm hoping I can kind of hide the, with like the trees that are gonna be in here. So let's go in with the next darkest thing, which is, I wish I had like some masking fluid, like that stuff where you like can do dots and then you rub it up afterwards and then it'll look like stars. But I do have a white gel pen, so I'll probably end up using something like that. Oh wait, aha, I found something. Okay, wait. Boop-be-doo, I found this. Ugh. It's masking liquid in a marker, so I can do like the stars that are in my reference here. I don't know how to prep this. I haven't used this in years. Oh, you can't really get too fine with this, but so cool that I have this thing. This came from a scrawler box like a long time ago. I gotta get little finer spots, but I'm not sure how well that'll work. But we have to wait for that to dry. That's the thing about painting. It's a lot of like sitting around waiting. And I'm an impatient person. I need to let that dry. But I can, actually let's use this brush. I can work on darkening up this. Basically it's kind of like here-ish, and then it comes across that way. Let's add some more pigment to that. Let's get this pretty dark. Like that. There's trees back there, so we can probably add some weird bumpies to the top. Make it look like some trees are back there. And then here there's gonna be trees, so that's gonna block off this. So that's not that important. But this continues around to here. So there's like a lake, see? And then the trees are more obvious here. Darken that up maybe a bit. Actually, I think it'd be kind of cool if this like jetted out that way a bit. Guess that's not really a tree, it's more like some kind of plant. Tree would be a lot bigger than that. It's dry now. I am now adding in some more paint to the top here to try and create the gradient, like a darker gradient. The biggest problem is just the beveling of the paper and the buckling, so I'm having sections that are like raised. The lightest part should really be there. But that stupid boom boom. Keep working my way down, maybe. Walking fast, faces passing, I'm home now. Ooh, look how dark that is. It's so streaky though. How do I get it to be more like a smooth gradient? Is it more water or less water? Do more of this sort of a texture? No, I don't like that either. I kind of prefer the linies. I think a lot of my problems are coming from this paper. But yeah, let's let that sit and dry. Trees. So I'm gonna need a ton of pigment because these need to be really dark. It's like the darkest part of the drawing, but it's basically just some splotchy shapes over around here. Comes down like this, farther too. I'll work on the outside shape later. I need to get the base shapes. So there's actually a tree here, like a pine or something. Oh, it needs to be darker. See, look, it's blending in with that background. So I need a lot more pigment. Ooh, yeah, that's better. I need to be able to block out that other section. Yeah, it comes all the way down here. Fill that in. Be a little bit more water, sort of blend that out. This tree actually probably should come out a little bit farther. Just looking at the reference. And it's still wet, so I have time to work on that. To imitate the shapes of leaves. Actually, I think I'm gonna blend these things together a bit more. Something like that. Maybe. Darken the edge a bit. Kinda want this to look a little bit more like leaves. I might could grab a smaller paintbrush, I suppose. But are we gonna do that? This is a different kind of tree. I don't want it to look like this spruce or evergreen or whatever this is. Definitely having a difficult time doing like an even wash. That's probably something that comes with, you know, practice. I think what's missing in this tree is like spaces, because looking at the reference there's like some spaces where you can see the sky behind it, and I kind of messed that up. Okay, and then there's also a tree. It's like right here. Ooh, it's wet down here. Why is it wet down there? What have I done in that area recently? I don't remember. Yeah, it's really wet over here. Did I do something? Why would it still be wet over here? I'm just doing like really quick strokes, kind of trying to imitate leaves, leafies, leaf shapies. Ooh, that's a really dark color. I like that. I don't know. Put some sort of leaf shapes up there. Fill this in. I like the texture of like the way it's spread with the wood because it was so wet. I'm trying my best. Ooh, it's kind of cool. But I kind of want to play with this, and I'm having a lot of fun, so try and build up some shape. I'm like sitting around waiting for things to dry, and then the thing I don't want to dry dries super fast. Wow, I see which side you're on. Dang, I kind of ruined this. This was one of the best parts of the painting, and I just ruined it. I have to try and lift it. Yeah, I lost the whatever gradient I had down there. I don't know, it's in the reference. There you go. I gotta wait for that to dry before I can do anything else. Okay, it's not quite dry yet, but I think I want to add like a little rowboat in the lake. Where to put it? Maybe here? Could be a little... This isn't working at all. Maybe it needs to be bigger. I think I tried to just do it too small is the problem. It just kind of looks like a blob. Anyway, I have this small brush out. I should try and add some finer details around here. That could be cool. Maybe some sticks. It'll look more like a tree. Yeah. I feel like I failed. I don't know. I guess it's not a total failure. I feel like the goal was to play with tones, and I kind of feel like there's only two here. There's dark and light. But that's also kind of the trouble I was having with this. So it's kind of like, go figure, like you're having trouble with this, you're gonna have trouble with that. So I guess that makes sense. I think I'll just darken up this top section again. Try to add a reflection by dragging down. Hey, that kind of actually worked. Create some kind of reflection by pulling down. Hey, hey. Looks kind of cool. I like that. Hey, I feel like for never drawing backgrounds, this isn't that bad. And I'm definitely noticing that I lean on line art as a crutch to separate colors more than I should. So this is definitely something I need to continue doing until I can get good at it, because I feel like it's actually really, really fun for one. So like, do it, but it's good for you, so. It's like finding out that ice cream like leads to a healthy BMI or something. I think I've reached that point where I'm just gonna make it worse. So I'm gonna need to wait for it to dry and then remove that masking fluid. And that'll be kind of fun. Hopefully I can do it without removing all of the other paint as well. So it's just about dry. I'm gonna start attempting to remove the masking fluid to show the stars. This is cramping my hand more than drawing does. I think 40% of my struggles are just from the paper. The other 60% is from an experience. So if I could fix that 40% of struggles, do you realize how much like better this could have turned out? So yeah, I'm gonna try out some new papers next time, because I'd like to see how this would turn out if the paper didn't buckle and like ruin the gradient, and then the paper wasn't chewing away. And I've heard like the better the paper, the better you can build up more pigment like on top of each other and create some pretty cool effects. So definitely gonna look into that. This part's a little tedious. Let's try some white stuff here. Get some more dots. That's what in between these tree holes. The tree holes. Alright, there, that looks like all of them. I think I got it all. Okay. Let's add some final stars. It's a little janky up here. But there we go. There's my monochrome. Why don't we peel these? Ooh. Look at that clean line. Yum. That's actually quite pretty. Ooh. Not quite a straight line there. See if I did better on this side. Ooh, pretty. I forgot what the color white was, because like this was sort of like my white, but that is way whiter. Yeah, look at that. Okay, for my first attempt, I'm definitely gonna give this another go. This was really, really fun. If you want to see it a little closer, see the mistakes up close. Oh my gosh, this was actually really, really fun. I'm gonna have to do more studies like this. If I do, what color should I do next? Should I go to one of those other greens? But yeah, I need to practice doing this again and this again, and maybe a different subject. Some more references would be fun. Oh, this was really, really fun. Oh, yeah. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I had a lot of fun playing with my watercolors. I still think this paper though, I think was like the biggest struggle. Like that with my inexperience felt insurpassable. Using this paper, the Canson XL watercolor paper, I've heard pretty terrible things about this, but also good things about this. Like I've heard it's like really good for beginners, but maybe I'm at a point where I'm trying to do techniques that you can't do with this paper. I don't know. Because I'm such a beginner, I don't even know. So maybe I should still keep using this paper. This is definitely fun. Like I enjoy just taking a paintbrush and blobbing, you know? That's just really, really fun to me. Blobbing out a tree, blobbing out a little rowboat, you know? I just enjoy that like process of applying the paint and it just being so blobular, you know? Because like sketching, you take your pencil and you're like sketching out details, and this is so much more freeing and like, I don't know, it's fun. Yeah. I definitely want to get better at it, so yeah. Thank you guys for watching. Have a delicious evening full of waffles. Bye.